We have lots of threatened and endangered species because of these pressures, and they're only getting harder in the face of climate change as water becomes more scarce and fire becomes more frequent. Endangered California clapper rail and that harvest mouse, that marsh harvest mouse that Florence talked about. We're proud to have the ability to protect these species from slipping into extinction. Oftentimes, the recovery road is a long and arduous one, but we have moments of joy. Just in the last few months, we introduced California condor into Northern California, Redwood National Park, with the Yurok tribe. This is a species that was on the brink of extinction a generation ago. Literally, there were about 25 left in the world. With many partners like you, we made the difficult decision to move the remaining birds in the wild into captivity, to figure out how to successfully breed them, and to begin that long slog toward recovery. Now we have more than 300 in the wild. We're releasing 2 this morning. Redwood National Park, ancestral homeland of the Yurok tribe. It was a joyful day for me to be there with the tribal chairman, with so many other partners, to release those birds. That's what we want. We want longfin to thrive. We want Delta smelt back. We want salmon to succeed. We want clapper rail to recover. It's a dubious distinction in some ways to be on the endangered species list because it means you're in the emergency room. The goal of the Endangered Species Act is to recover species so they don't need that dubious distinction. And it's one we take great pride in. And we know that you do too. That's why you're here. Our agency is the oldest fish and wildlife conservation agency in the country. Started with fisheries and migratory bird needs in the 1800s. We're 9,000 strong across this country, from the Arctic to the Florida Keys, right, Ann? She's been in Alaska and Florida and Moorkill. And 9,000 sounds like a lot. We've got a budget of about $1.5 billion a year, but in the big picture, it's small potatoes. You know, we're fighters just like you for conservation, and it takes people and partners to get big things done for conservation. We can't do it alone. We need you, and thank you. I want to thank the staff of the Fish and Wildlife Service. Please raise your hands. Volunteers too. This is our life's work. Working for the Fish and Wildlife Service and in conservation is a labor of love. It is not a job. It is a calling. Apathy is really not our problem. It's the opposite. It's turning it off and being present and not having your mind always turning about getting that conservation achievement done tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, building that coalition to make bigger things happen than we can do by ourselves. So thank you, Fish and Wildlife Service staff. I know how hard you work. I know how underfunded you are. Please know I'm your biggest fan, and to our volunteers as well. We'd be nothing without you. I do want to focus on partnerships a little bit more. We're at our best when we work with other people. Oftentimes that means compromise. It means finding common ground. It means trying to magnify the strength that we have with our passion and our resources 100-fold through the commitment and passion and resources of many others. And in this location, Don Edwards in particular, the list of partners that we have is so rich. We thank you deeply. The San Francisco Bay Wildlife Society, we thank you. Citizens Committee to Complete the Refuge, thank you. Hundreds of acres left. You know how much hundreds of acres cost in the San Francisco Bay Area? We've got some refuges in the middle of Nevada where I think the dollars per acre would be a little different. But we have beautiful places along the coast as well. Salinas River, please go if you haven't been. It's part of this complex. It's one of my favorite beaches in the world. I'll be in San Diego, Carlsbad, in our San Diego National Wildlife Complex in 2 weeks. Property values are shockingly high too. We need to protect these places though, and we have the partnerships I think that would help us make it so. Friends of San Pablo Bay National Wildlife Refuge, thank you. And the South Bay Salt Pond Restoration Project, one of the most important and ambitious projects that we have in the country. We will get it done.